ceremonies for the London Olympics are just 12 days away, and with the athletes being on the world stage, it's the perfect time to celebrate with globally inspired foods and flavors. Chef Quinn from Le Cordon Bleu can show viewers how to create an international appetizer to wow your guests and kind of embody the spirit of the games. Thank you so much for joining us
You're
this morning.
quite welcome. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning to you. A perfect appetizer for those parties out there if you plan to have one during the Olympics. What are we making today?
Absolutely. Let's get started. We're going to do a French-inspired dish. I have a wheel of brie cheese, and I'm going to put some toasted pecans on top of it, and it's topped with caramel. So when the caramel browns, we're going to pour it over the top of this, and this is the finished product.
Okay.
And the shell hardens, and the idea is to crack it, and you get this nutty flavor, this sweet flavor, and then the brie cheese and the creaminess of that comes through.
Talk about the brie cheese a little bit. Why the brie?
Just because it's a French traditional cheese, probably the most famous cheese from France. It's got a high butterfat content, so it's real creamy and works really well with the sugar.
Okay.
We teach several of these things at our cooking classes that we hold for the public. People can view them at www.chefs.edu. Every 2 weeks we have inspired classes, internationals, French, Spanish, Italian.
So all specifically toward a certain type of food. And then how are we making the caramel here?
So this was just sugar and water, and you reduce it down. I covered it for 3 or 4 minutes so that the sugar doesn't crystallize. After we reduce it down, it gets the color of caramel to it. We'll pour it over the top of that, and it'll create that hard shell.
About how long does it take to...
I've had this pot on for about 10 minutes. So,
okay, so it does take a little while.
It takes a while. You got to time the color of it properly, and so that the sugar doesn't crystallize and become almost like rock candy as opposed to a caramel shell.
To what you see here now, can't you just slice through this, and is this good?
Yeah, I'll give you a demo of this.
Cracker topping, or do you just eat it straight?
Oh, you can eat it with croutons or crackers, but the idea is to crack right through that.
Well, that's like glass.
And then you get a piece of the brie cheese.
Wonderful.
And a little bit of the sugar. And now this is almost ready. Just want to get a little bit more color on here.
Now, what would you pair with this if you were making some other dishes to go with it?
Other cheeses would work well with that. Some fruits would go well with that as well. So we're almost there. We got the color of this caramel.
Okay. So we've cracked the caramel topping here. How long does it take to harden, to go from the liquid to the hard shell?
It'll take about 15 minutes at room temperature.
Okay, so definitely need a little bit of time to prepare this. If it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes to get the caramel ready, and then another 10 to 15 to harden. So you just pour that right over.
Pour it right over the top of that.
Wow, that looks cool. Wonderful.
And you can vary the color on this. I made this one a little bit lighter.
Yeah. And then the brie cheese has the rind or the skin on it, right?
It does.
Okay.
It's completely edible.
Okay, completely edible rind as well. And so you've got the pecans, you've got the wheel of brie cheese, you've got the caramel topping, a great appetizer for parties.
Absolutely, a way to start off the Olympics.
A way to start off the Olympics, especially if you're rooting for the French.
True. We're going to come back. We'll do an American dish, too.
That's right. Okay, we're going to keep Le Cordon Bleu around later on in our hour, and we'll cook up another dish. Thank you so much.
Thank you.